Welcome back to From the Shed End. Welcome back to another episode of the channel. Theo, first of all, how are you doing? How's things?
I'm good, yeah. Enjoying a bit of a quiet period during the international break. Still kind of watching back at all the highlights of the Chelsea-Liverpool match that happened a week and a bit ago now. Really enjoyed the Chelsea Legends match at Stamford Bridge against the Liverpool Legends. Despite the result, it was always a nice occasion to see Eden Hazard, John Terry, Diego Costa, Petr Cech all back at Stamford Bridge. It's nice to see that some of those characters like Diego Costa haven't changed one bit at all. Same old Diego Costa. But yeah, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Slowly recovering from a busy week, as you know. Celebrating my birthday, and then just as always, kids seem to take over my weekends. But it was good. Got to go to Hill Dickinson yesterday, which I thought was really good. Really impressive stadium. Decent, but apart from that, I'm good. I'm here as always. A different type of episode this week with the international football taking place this week and last week. So Theo has come up with a brilliant idea of the ranking system, which we've done before with previous episodes, but this one I'm looking forward to as well, because this one is all about players, ex-Chelsea players that have scored against us and how we're going to rank them. But Theo, I know you've got a bit more information in terms of what we're ranking and how we're ranking the goals itself.
Absolutely, yeah. So I know we say once a blue, forever a blue, but this one we're going to call it once a blue, still a menace. For a club that's seen so much talent pass through the doors, and almost any other club in Europe, Chelsea have quite a bit of reputation for producing players who have then moved on and then resist coming back to haunt us. There's a lot of players we're going to be ranking today, the likes of Lampard, Kevin De Bruyne, Mohamed Salah, who have all left Chelsea and then have gone on to score against us. I'm going to say one little bit of information, though. There's a few players that have scored against us, but that was before they joined Chelsea. The likes of Diego Costa, Caval William, Falcao, who are not going to rank today, because the only ones we're ranking today are the ones that played for Chelsea and then went on to score against us after leaving Chelsea. We've got 5 categories. So we're going to be ranking these players from didn't even sting, which will place a few of them that we probably don't really remember much, or the score was quite flattering for us that we didn't even need to kind of remember that goal. Second category is annoying but fair enough. The middle category is that one stung, for those goals that we feel did leave a bit of an impact on us and are quite memorable for the wrong reasons. Fourth category is a knife in the back, where we really felt betrayed by that goal. And then the ultimate category where we're going to be placing, I think it's definitely one that I'm going to be placing in here, is ultimate heartbreak, which is the one where we just felt like we were absolutely shattered and heartbroken after this player scored against us after leaving the club. A lot of them, I did use a bit of a the list of all these players and the occasion they scored against us, the year, as well as the final scoreline, because I think the final scoreline is going to be really telling as well, where we place these players as well.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think I'm looking forward to it. What we'll do, we'll periodically show the tiers on the screen. So if you're watching this on Spotify podcast, which you can now do, you can actually watch the podcast. You should be able to still keep track of where things are and who we're ranking. So we'll be, as I said, periodically putting the tier system and the ranking of these goals. But let's start with the first one, which I think, with my very bad vision, looks like Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. I'm assuming this is the game when he was playing for Charlton. And I think we were, at the time, we were
right, yeah.
1-0.
Yes, I've got the information here. So this was Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, played on the 9th of September 2006. Final score was 2-1 to Chelsea. So we did end up winning the game. Obviously, Jimmy Floyd, big legend of the club, top bloke, still loves Chelsea to bits. I'm watching him every Saturday alongside my mum on Strictly Come Dancing at the moment. But he's, I think this one hurt a bit, because obviously he's a legend of the club. Luckily, we got the 3 points. And I think even Charlton might have gotten relegated that season.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm tempted to place him in annoying but fair enough, given the legacy he had at the club. But given that we kind of accepted that maybe he was kind of approaching the kind of twilight of his career, and we've kind of just accepted that he left now and kind of was playing for a lower league team as well.
Yeah, I think, look, he's obviously still a Chelsea legend. I think he has to go down in his own respect as that. And I think if I remember the goal correctly, it was a goal low goal into to the bottom left hand side, I think. But he doesn't celebrate. I remember he just puts his hands up and he just almost is a bit sort of apologetic that he scores. But no, I agree. I think he's a Chelsea legend in his own right, and I agree with you. Annoying, but fair enough. I think is probably the right category for that goal.
Let's do it. Yeah.
He's gone straight into there. So who's next? I can't. Your eyesight was better than mine.
I mean, I created this morning, so I should know. That's Mateo Kovacic. Against Chelsea on the opening day of last season with Man City. Final score was 2-0 to Man City. I think Erling Haaland got the first goal. This one did hurt to a certain extent because, he won the Champions League with us in 2021. He kind of was part of that kind of crop of experienced players that left in the 2023 summer window. I'm tempted to place this one in that one stung as well, especially that was like Maresca's first game. I think it was a bit of I think Sanchez should have done a lot better for that one, if I'm not mistaken as well. And also felt like maybe that set the precedent for the rest of the season, that game, even though it didn't, because we did go on a bit of a purple patch of form after that. But yeah, I mean, we're just so used to seeing Kovacic score those bangers for us usually than against us.
Yeah.
So I always want to put that one in. That one stung.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of tossed in between knife in the back and that one stung because it felt like one of those sort of. If you remember, I think me and you both probably said we wanted to keep Kovacic if we could have. I think if I remember correctly. So let's put him in that one stung for now. But I think I think we did with our previous tier rankings, we sort of went back and reviewed, swapped and changed slightly, didn't we? In the end,
yeah.
David Luiz. Mr. Luiz himself is up next. This looks like he's playing for PSG. I'm automatically going to say knife in the back for this one. But what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, if you remember, actually, I think it was Thiago Silva who got the first goal in that game for PSG. And actually, they ended up knocking us out in extra time with the away goal rule back in the day. This one's definitely knife in the back because he left Chelsea for PSG. They were sold for like a record fee for a defender at the time. Joined Paris, scored against us in the Champions League, did some kind of knee slide and celebrated at Stamford Bridge. I think it's more the celebration that really pains me to this day still. And then I think a year and a half later, he's joining Chelsea again. So it was almost like always forgiven to a certain extent. When I see pictures of that celebration with curly hair, it definitely feels like in back.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I think I think I grew to appreciate what David Luiz could do as a defender and obviously sometimes in the midfield. But I just think, based on those circumstances, how we went out the Champions League that season, it's definitely got to be a knife in the back, 100%. I think it just is self-explanatory, really. He's a good defender for us, but he also gave us some chaotic and crazy moments against us as well. So David Luiz straight into knife in the back. Looks like Kevin De Bruyne.
Kevin De Bruyne, yeah. He did score a few against us.
He did.
Man City.
He did.
I think we can pick any of the bunch, but I think this was the first goal he scored for Man City against Chelsea, which came in September 2017. I think it was a thunderbolt at Stamford Bridge in a 1-0 victory in Guardiola's second season. I'm a bit torn here because one part of me wants to say ultimate heartbreak, given he was kind of showing what he could have been doing for Chelsea had he stayed. But then another side of me wants to say maybe just like annoying, but fair enough to this extent that we've accepted that he's now a world-class player. And we're the ones that have kind of got ourselves to blame for letting him go. And we kind of also knew that, this is probably the first goal of many, which was the case as well. He did go on to score, I think, probably 3 or 4 against us.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what your kind of rationale is here. Is it more annoying but fair enough, or was it the ultimate heartbreak seeing him do that at Stamford Bridge?
I think it was annoying but fair enough. I think we obviously never got to see the best of Kevin De Bruyne at Chelsea. You know, he's gone on to be one of the best midfielders in the world or European football at least. So you just hit the nail on the head by saying we're almost at fault by default for allowing him to leave the club, knowing that he had that potential, the high ceiling that he's gone on to achieve. So I think it's annoying but fair enough for me, because I don't think, I suppose that the title sums it up. You know, it is annoying, but we have to just accept that he's gone on to be one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, if not in Europe.
Completely agree. Yeah, I think annoying but fair enough.
This is an interesting one. I'm glad you put, which looks like Graham Lasso
It's
in there.
So yeah.
Um, again, I don't know. I feel like this didn't even sting.
No, I feel like a bit similar to David Luiz. I think he got this goal for Blackburn Rovers against Chelsea in between two spells.
Yeah, he did.
And I agree. I think didn't even sting. I need to double check what the final result was of that game, but I feel we did one of our legends videos back in July. He was still amongst one of the Chelsea legends that we had in his position and his squad number. So I'm tempted to just stick this one straight into didn't even sting. The fact it's not even very memorable to us.
Yeah, exactly. Look, just before we move, what's your thoughts on, because we've done obviously the Chelsea Legends series, and I suppose I remember like doing that one and even rewatching it back recently, and I thought for me, he's got to be one of the Chelsea legends. He was almost a part of that sort of, era of transition through Chelsea when, we're going through that transition and Abramovich comes on board and all the rest of it. Do you feel that he is or should be deemed as a Chelsea legend? I know we deemed him as it on our channel, but do you reckon other Chelsea fans should kind of pay a bit more homage to him in terms of his career at Chelsea?
Yeah, I think given his position as well, he wasn't really doing like what Chelsea fans nowadays get to see with the likes of Zola through the reels and the clips. But what he was doing in his position, I think, was great and a bit of an unsung hero at times as well. And I think it's such a kind of like contrast now with who's a legend pre-Abramovich and post-Abramovich, or during the Abramovich era as well. But for me, he's definitely up there with the legends of the pre-Abramovich era, 2 spells at Chelsea. And he's still kind of really kind of respected amongst a lot of the maybe more mature or older Chelsea fans as well.
Yeah, I agree. And I am one of those maturer and older Chelsea fans. I can vouch for that 100%. Who's next on the list? It looks like Scott Sinclair, but it does. I don't think it is. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so Scott Sinclair got a goal for Chelsea for Swansea City in a 1-1 draw away to Swansea on the 31st of January 2012. So this finished in a draw. I think I might be wrong, but I think Basingwa got a deflected equaliser in that game. This one does sting a bit because I think he was a Cobham Academy boy, I believe. And then I think that 1 year at Swansea got him a move to Manchester City a year or two later. That being said, I think, we accepted that he was very never good enough to maybe make it in a Chelsea first team, but it's always hard when it's an academy boy who comes to score against us. So I'm almost tempted to put it in annoying, but fair enough in a way.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think he's one of those players that just never, in my opinion, didn't really hit the potential that we thought he might have had, coming through the Chelsea Academy. I just don't think he was able to achieve that. Again, it's in between for me. It's the one that stung, or is it annoying but fair? And I sort of, I'm swaying towards what you're saying in terms of, yeah, it's annoying but fair. I think that's probably the more likely category to put him in at the moment. I can't say the same for the next one, which looks like John Terry, I think.
No, that's Scott Sinclair.
Okay, this is why I need my glasses.
Another Scott Parker. Sorry, Scott Parker. That's Scott Parker. He scored twice against Chelsea. So he scored a volley for West Ham in a
I remember that
4-1. Chelsea beat West Ham 4-1, should I say? And he also scored for West Ham in a 3-1 defeat. So he scored twice for us, but in games that Chelsea won fairly comfortably. Good goals, I think. I mean, if we remember back to the Scott Parker at West Ham, I think he was captain, scoring crackers when he got broken back in the league, and that earned him a move to Tottenham Hotspur. I think even we were linked with his signature. We tried to re-sign him, perhaps even. But yeah, I think again we accepted that he was a bit of a sporadic player for us in the early 2000s when we won the Premier League back in 2004, 2005. So I think he even went to Newcastle after Chelsea before going to West Ham. I want to say annoying, but fair enough. It's always annoying conceding a goal to West Ham. I think fair enough in a way that we probably realised that he was a bit of a fringe player for us. Went on to a club, lower league club, and kind of managed to create a bit of a legacy there for himself.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think he's he's obviously had a great career, at Chelsea and away from Chelsea. But those 2 goals, I remember one of them, the sort of volley. I remember that was top-notch goal. Although we went on to win the game, but I think it definitely isn't any of the three categories above him. And like you said, I think it matches what you just said before in terms of conceding goals to West Ham is never fun. So, yeah, I agree. Annoying but fair.
Yeah. Next one is Ross Barkley.
Yep.
So Ross Barkley, if you remember, he left on a free, went to Nice for a season, then came back to the Premier League and joined newly promoted Luton Town. We were winning this game 3-0 fairly comfortably. And then I think we just let Luton back into the game at half-time, after half-time with Barkley scoring. It was a really, really nervy finish to that game. I think Barkley scored a header and might even hit the crossbar soon after. I want to almost put this in didn't even sting, even though at the time it did sting a little, given the result was a bit nervy and it made it for a really uncomfortable watch. But did it even sting to the way that like Ross Barkley left? We kind of wished him the best, but he was playing for Luton. I think now might still be at Aston Villa if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I don't know what you think about this one. Or is it annoying but fair enough?
No, I think he had moments at Chelsea where I thought he looked amazing. He played well. But I think the way that he ended his career, having his contract terminated and paid up, almost summed up his time at Chelsea overall. And I agree with you. I don't think it was one of those goals or moments in the game or his career that you look back on and you think it's impacted our season dramatically or anything like that. So I agree. I think did not sting. Good player, went on to even achieve good things for Aston Villa. I think he almost got himself back into the England's fold as well after he left us. So yeah, good player, but that didn't really impact us in any way, shape or form. And you got Ryan Bertrand, I think, up next as well.
Yeah, made his debut in the Champions League final in 2012.
Historic.
Historic kind of achievement, yeah.
Yep.
Then he went on to leave Chelsea. I think he played for Aston Villa before joining Southampton permanently, became their club captain as well. This goal came, we might as well did them together actually, because I think Oriol Romeu was also in the list there, in the bottom row. Because they both scored in the same game against Chelsea. It was where we went on that 13-game winning streak under Antonio Conte in the back end of 16, with Ryan Bertrand and Oriol Romeu both scoring the goals for Southampton against Chelsea. We won the game 4-2. I think it was Diego Costa and Hazard scored a few goals that day. I want to put maybe the Bertrand one stung a little, but maybe the Romeu one was annoying but fair enough.
Yeah,
in a way. I mean, like I kind of gave with Scott Sinclair, always a bit tough when it's an academy boy. But I think Chelsea fans did get to see more of Ryan Bertrand than they did see of Scott Sinclair. So yeah, maybe the Bertrand one did sting a bit, but the Oriol Romeu one was just annoying but fair enough.
I have to agree with that. I think the fact that Ryan Bertrand actually went on to win the Champions League with us, he's come through, and done what he needed to do in terms of his Chelsea career and went on to again have a really good career afterwards. I think it'd be interesting to see what his career would have been like had he stayed at Chelsea, because I think that there was a period of time where we sort of needed a left back, and Ryan Bertrand was always obviously overshadowed by other left backs and one of the greatest left backs the league has ever seen. So it would have been interesting to see how and if he could have maybe fought his way into the team or got himself more game time at Chelsea to see where his career potentially could have gone. But no, I agree. I think that that goal, this one stung, and I agree with the Romeo one. I think I'd even probably put it in the bottom tier. Didn't even sting, but
yeah, I'm actually almost willing to maybe change him into didn't even sting. Given the result, he never was given a proper opportunity at Chelsea.
Exactly.
I think he ended up leaving Southampton to join Girona and Barcelona afterwards. So he's had a decent career for himself after leaving Chelsea. So fair play to him.
It's almost fell upwards instead of downwards. But no, let's leave him in the annoying but fair enough for now, and we can maybe go and revisit and come back to that. But Emerson, West Ham, he's up next.
I mean, this was just so typical. Like, play West Ham, and it's the one player that used to play for Chelsea that day is Emerson Palmieri in the West Ham lineup at left back. I mean, I should have maybe put a bet on him scoring that day. It was in a 1-1 draw at the London Stadium. Joao Felix opened a score, and then Palmieri scored right before half time. I'm actually keep tempted to put this one in. This one did stink. Just because if you remember back to the previous season before that, we were really needing a left back. We had Alonso out injured. We had I think Salniguez at times playing left wing back. We were really kind of like trying to plead with Olympique Lyon to recall Emerson Palmieri and getting back at Chelsea.
Yeah.
And he ends up joining West Ham the following summer, and then scores against us. And it was in a bit of a dire month of February when we were drawing with West Ham, losing to Southampton, losing away to Dortmund. I think that kind of like barren spell kind of spelled the end of Graham Potham's time at Chelsea. So yeah, I think this one definitely did sting. Not so much for the goal itself, but during the period it came in, and in fact, it was a former player that happened to score it as well.
Yeah, I was going to up it a tier and go to knife in the back. More so because
celebrate. I'm trying to remember now.
I can't remember, but I think more so like you've just said, the circumstances around Salniguez playing left wing back. If you remember, we did a couple of episodes at the time when we were saying we should kind of try and do a little bit more to get him back to the club. I think there was a moment where we thought that deal might happen where we could get him back. Obviously, recall him back from the loan, but we just never materialised. And I think that, not saying that would have changed our season at all, because I think there was other factors to why we were playing so poorly during that period. But I think it would have helped, and I think it would have just maybe helped build a bit of momentum, get a bit of consistency going, have someone that's naturally better in that position, playing in that position as well. So I kind of feel like when I say knife in the back, I don't mean from the player particularly. I mean just the circumstances that we were dealt at the time. I feel like it was a bit of almost like a dagger to the back.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like rub salt further into the wound. We had Cucurella that season that was really struggling.
Yes, we did.
It help seeing like another former left back at another team doing quite well.
Doing well, yeah. I feel like it needs to be upgraded to knife in the back.
Let's do it, yeah.
I think he's got to go up there. So we've got 2 in knife in the back. No one's got the ultimate heartbreak moment yet. I'm sure there will be one.
There is one coming, yeah.
There is definitely one. That looks like a Birmingham City top.
Yes, I don't remember this one at all, but it was Mikhail Forsell. He had a very small role during his Chelsea time, but he scored for Birmingham in a 3-2 win, Chelsea win on the 12th of August 2007, which makes me think it's probably like early on in the season. I don't know at what point the goal came, but the fact that for me it's not very memorable almost makes me want to put it in. This one didn't sting at all, especially given that I don't think he was a very memorable Chelsea player either.
He wasn't. I'm trying to remember the game and the goal. I don't remember it.
Yeah, it's that annoying kind of period, 2006, 2007, where we didn't really get all the highlights on YouTube to rewatch these things.
I can't remember it, and for that reason, he's got to go straight into the bottom tier. It didn't even sting. I liked Mikel Forsell. I think he was almost like an impact sub, wasn't he? He was never really the main player at Chelsea, but he was definitely an impact sub, and pretty sure he played in some of those European games. UEFA Cup games, I think, if my memory serves correct. But yeah, I mean, if we don't remember it, it kind of, you can't go any other tier than the bottom one, unfortunately. I haven't got my glasses on. I've said that about 3 times now.
I need to help you. Yeah, is William Gallas.
William Gallas for Tottenham.
Gallas. For Tottenham and for Arsenal, we could have had him.
Yes.
He scored for both clubs against us, for both Arsenal and Tottenham. So I've got here, if his stats are right, he scored for Arsenal against Chelsea on the 16th of December 2007, and then he scored for Tottenham against Chelsea in 2012, which I remember that goal. I think Sturridge scored later on. Massa scored a few. So yeah, I mean, for me, if you're scoring for Chelsea, for Arsenal, Tottenham twice, then it just feels like proper knife to the back, doesn't it?
Yeah. I was about to say, if it's Tottenham or Arsenal, you could even argue the case it could be ultimate heartbreak. I don't think it's there, but it could be. No. It could be. So I think knife in the back. I think by default you're playing for, especially Tottenham, but you're playing for one of the clubs in North London. I think you have to go straight into that category.
We're still inviting him back for the Legends matches, though. So
Yeah.
Yes, all respect for Chelsea fans. But yeah, he still feels like a knife to the back given the colour of the kit he's playing in, the occasion as well.
Just a team, doesn't it? Just a team. Just a team. Yeah, I mean, he's. I still think I always talk about this deal, the Ashley Cole swap deal for Gallas, and Gallas going in the other way. We're getting Ashley Cole. I think I've said it on here before. I remember being devastated that we lost William Gallas that day. Not really, obviously, understanding that Ashley Cole was going to go on to be one of the best left backs in the world. But I remember being devastated when we lost Gallas and we inherited Ashley Cole that day. I just remember being good. It was transfer deadline day. I'm pretty sure it was the final hours of the deadline. And yeah, I remember just being absolutely devastated the day after. But the silver lining is we got one of the best left backs in the world. Amazing. That does look like Mr. Daniel Sturridge, who's next on the list.
That is Daniel Sturridge. And this is a funny one because he scored twice against us for Liverpool. He scored almost a couple months after joining Liverpool, I think, in a 2-2 draw at Anfield, the same match where Luis Suarez infamously bit Branislav Ivanovic.
He did.
And then he also scored in his final season for Liverpool, which came after like a 6-month loan at West Brom, where I think he really struggled and he got injured, I think, at Stamford Bridge. And I kind of thought to myself, that's his career over. And the following season, he's back at Liverpool, I think, scoring a really crazy curling goal at Stamford Bridge.
Was that 2017 or 2018? Sorry, not 2017, 2014.
So he scored in 20, yeah, I think he scored in 2013, I think when Suarez bit Ivanovic, then he scored in 2018.
2018.
When he scored back. So almost four or 5 years in between each of those goals. And he might have even scored in the League Cup, I think, at Anfield, the same match where Hazard dribbled past all of the Liverpool players. So he scored 3 times for Liverpool against Chelsea. I want to almost put it in annoying, but fair enough, because we never really properly gave Sturridge a chance at Chelsea, I feel.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were bringing in the likes of Torres, we were bringing in the likes of Demba Ba, players that I think were like, probably told Daniel Sturridge, like, yeah, you're probably second or third choice now. And I always felt like he was good enough to be third choice elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I think he scored in his debut for Liverpool and got almost instant success. So yeah, I think it's almost similarly to Kevin De Bruyne. It was like, it's annoying, but it's fair enough for the player's career and what they went on to achieve afterwards.
Yeah, I think I have to agree. I think he was always, I mean, I loved him in the Premier League. I think he was probably one of, you know, away from Chelsea, he went on to have an amazing career and scored some amazing goals for Liverpool. But you're right, you know, we never really got to see what he could do at Chelsea. And I think it's a shame because I think I remember his time at Man City, he was electrifying as well. And he was just, again, he found himself in the same situation that he was in at Man City. He's just always down the pecking order, never really got given a real good opportunity. But yeah, he was an electrifying player. I think he'd even probably be able to lace his boots up and have a kick about today. You know, I think he's that good of a player. But I agree, that one did sting a little bit, I think. Sorry, where are we putting this one? Annoying but fair?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, for me, I'll go there. I mean, it's Liverpool, so it's almost.
I know. No. I think I miss. Yeah, I think. Oh, it's tough one.
In fact, he didn't score once, but 3 times. I'm almost tempted to say that one stung a little. Just went on to score a few.
I think the reason I was asking about when the game was, I'm pretty sure it was at the 2018 game. Pretty sure. I have to. My memory is obviously not the best at times, but I'm pretty sure I was at that game. I was at a game where he scored at Anfield, so I remember because we were calling him a Chelsea reject throughout the whole game, and he goes on to score. So I think it was that game. I'm not sure. Let's put him in that one stung. We can always change it afterwards as well. Again, it looks like it's at the Etihad. I mean, it gives me a bit of a clue, a little bit, I think.
So after that surgery, we got Fabio Borini, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah. So Fabio Borini scored twice against us. He scored in a consolation in Gus Hiddink's first game in charge in his second spell, in a 3-1 Chelsea win at Stamford Bridge. But I'm going to place this one in that one stung because the first goal he scored against us came in a 2-1 Sunderland win at Stamford Bridge in April 2014. And this game kind of the end of our title run under Jose Mourinho. I think Eto'o got an early goal, and then I think it was Connor Wickham and Barini got some goals for Sunderland. We lost 2-1, and that just allowed, I think, City and Liverpool to leapfrog ahead of us and kind of fight each other for the league title. I think I might be wrong again, but I think this was like Mourinho's first Chelsea home defeat in a very, very long time, or probably his first ever Chelsea home defeat as well. And I just remember having a flight to Morocco the next day, being so excited about that game. So yeah, Barini's goal for Sunderland against Chelsea. I'm going to put this one in that one stung, just because of the circumstances of the goal and what happened to our season afterwards.
I'd have to agree. Did he go on to play for Liverpool as well? Am I mistaken?
He did. So I think he joined Sunderland after Liverpool. So it was Chelsea. I think he went to Roma after Liverpool, then Sunderland.
Yes, didn't he? Yeah. Yeah, another one. I agree. He's got to go in the stung category. He's an ex-Liverpool player. Yeah, let's keep him in that category for now.
Yeah, we know which one's next now.
Should we just throw him straight into the?
Yeah, that was probably the biggest Chelsea legend to play for the club. Frank Lampard, probably against his will, was forced to join Manchester City after joining New York FC and then being loaned to Man City, given the kind of dual ownership of those clubs. And I think we got 1-0 off at the Etihad with Andre Schürrle. Lampard comes on as a late substitute, scores the equaliser past Thibaut Courtois. Doesn't celebrate, rightfully so.
He didn't.
But yeah, just ultimate heartbreak for us Chelsea fans. I almost cried in front of that match when that goal went in. So yeah, ultimate heartbreak for me.
Yeah, let's put him straight in there. I think he's got to go straight in. Ultimate heartbreak. And you're right, he didn't know apparently when he signed for the team in MLS, he didn't realise he would also have to then be loaned out as part of that deal to Man City. So I don't think I remember they interviewed him afterwards and he wasn't happy at all, was not happy at all after that. So yeah, definitely got to go into the ultimate heartbreak of all heartbreaks for Frank Lampard. That is a very old Aston Villa kit, I can see there.
Yeah, I don't remember this, but it says Andy Townsend scoring for Aston Villa in a 1-1 draw against Chelsea on the 15th of September 1996. I mean, maybe this is just me being a bit younger than you, but this one didn't even sting for me because I wasn't able to watch this game. It was before I was born. But yeah, I don't know if you remember this one or.
I'll be honest, I don't remember the goal, but I definitely remember Andy Townsend, and I remember that Aston Villa kit because everyone in Birmingham had it. But I think we got to put in the bottom tier. I think he's gonna have to go and didn't even sting. Very similar to Mikel Forsell. It's it's one of those that if we don't remember it, we can't really. I mean, I do remember it. I remember that sort of period, but the exact goal, I probably wouldn't remember that. Whoever's next is definitely not just a footballer. They're also a gymnast as well because they're doing a brilliant celebration in that picture.
I might be wrong, but this is the most recent inductee into this ranking system because this is Amari Hutchinson for Ipswich against Chelsea last season. And if you remember, it was that really dire game just before Christmas when beat us 2-0. And I think Liam Delap got a penalty, and then Amari Hutchinson gets the second goal for them. I'm always tempted to put this one in that one stung just because we lost to like newly promoted Ipswich. I think there were talks of us wanting to keep Amari Hutchinson that season, but a lot of Chelsea fans wanted to sell him for a bit of a profit of what we bought him for from Arsenal. It was almost 20 million we made from him. But yeah, that one stung for me. And then he does that backflip celebration as well to celebrate. It's always kind of rubs salt further into the wound. So yeah, that one stung for me.
I think you're right as well, because I think he had a point to prove. And I think just because we didn't really give him the opportunity very much like some of the other players we spoke about already, I just felt, the celebration said a lot. He said that, he wanted to score against us. He was glad that he did. We saw a different contrast from Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank many seasons before where, and Frank Lampard was the same, very almost apologetic that he scored. But Hutchinson wanted us to know that, he scored against us. He didn't want to be muted about it.
Yeah, it's a tough one to take, that one.
Next, it looks like it's Glenn Johnson, who I got a very very funny story about him and B&Q, which I don't know if I can tell on here, but I'm sure it's an infamous story that many people know already. But Glenn Johnson for Liverpool.
Yeah, so this one came, I think, in a 2-1 win for Liverpool at Stamford Bridge. I think, if my memory records, it was him and Maxi Rodriguez scoring for Liverpool, and funny enough, Daniel Sturridge scoring for Chelsea. This was when I think we had Andre Villas-Boas, so things were slowly going downhill for Chelsea. I think the old brigade was kind of, old guard was kind of sidelined, and we were trying to play a much more youthful Chelsea team. But yeah, I mean, losing to Liverpool is always a bit shit. And when it's a former player who gets the winner as well in Glenn Johnson, I'm going to put it in that one stunk, definitely.
Yeah. I think very similar to Daniel Sturridge. Anyone that plays for Liverpool, Tottenham or Arsenal, you're in those three categories of either heartbreak, knife in the back, or that one stung. And I think he has to go in there for that one. Who is that?
Yeah, let me look. This is one as well that I had to do a bit of research. This is Neil Shipley.
Southampton?
Yeah. Southampton against Chelsea on the 12th of April, 1995. I think similarly to kind of what I mentioned about Andy Townsend, I can't remember this one. I know it came in a defeat, so it's hard to put it in. Didn't even sting. So I want to almost be annoying, but fair enough.
Yeah.
Given it was like, after Chelsea, but also pre-Abramovich. So maybe I was going to say the underdogs going into that game, but I feel like Southampton in the mid 90s were quite a decent team, weren't they?
Evenly matched, I think I'd probably say is we weren't like the Chelsea under Abramovich. We could have easily, I think you said we lost that game, but we could easily have gone into that game with the expectation of a defeat, because Southampton were actually a really good team in the 90s. So I think that's a fair assessment to put him in annoying, but fair enough. You're going to have to help me with the next one as well. My eyesight's poor.
So I was at this game at Goodison Park. Chelsea won 6-3 against Everton in August 2014, and that is Samuel Eto'o, who spent one season at Chelsea before joining David Moyes' Everton. I think he only spent 6 months at Everton in January. Sampdoria, if my memory recalls.
Yeah.
But he scored a diving header for Everton in that chaotic game when it was just like pinball, and we would score, then they would score, and then we would score, and they would go back and score. But yeah, I think the 3 goal scorers for Everton that they were Eto'o, Naismith, and Kevin Morales. I want to put it in didn't even sting, just because he was either football legend, didn't spend too much time at Chelsea. We ended up winning the game quite comfortably in a game for me that I just probably still one of my best games I've ever watched live, given how kind of crazy it was, and I think we were seeing the beginning of like that link-up play between Fabregas, Diego Costa as well. But I know it's always for you probably it's a bit more close to home being Everton, so maybe you might want to be like annoying, but fair enough. But
no, I think you're right. I think based on the situation of the game, how the game ended up, timeline in terms of how long player was at Chelsea, and then, like you said, 6 months at Everton, I think it's probably a fair assessment to put him in that category of didn't even sting. I think the fact we acquired him to come to the club in the first place, I think we're talking about Samuel Eto'o, one of the best players in the world at one point, at Chelsea Football Club, and then, obviously goes on to Everton. I think it's a fair assessment. I think he deserves his credit for what he did at the club for us, but did it really impact the game? And like you said as well, the 6-3, the result in itself, it was a brilliant game overall. So yeah, I think it's a good assessment.
Yeah.
The next one did actually hurt, though, I'll be honest.
Yeah. This one for me is, I'm going to say right now, this was the ultimate heartbreak for me. One of my favourite players, Juan Mata, joining Manchester United, I think January 2014.
Yeah.
Wasn't fancied by Mourinho. I think Mourinho was opting more for Oscar Willian and Hazard as his kind of creative midfielders, and then joined Man United. It did take him a bit of time to settle in at United. I think wasn't really scoring that much under David Moyes, and actually joined United in 2014. But his first goal against Chelsea came in 2019 in a 1-1 draw at Old Trafford, with Marcus Alonso scoring for Chelsea. So the goal in itself was a bit of a, not really significant, because I think we'd already secured like top 4. United were maybe struggling a bit more that season. But just given that it was Juan Mata, a player that I thought would stay for Chelsea for countless years, become a club legend, And the fact he was doing it for Manchester United, for me, that was the ultimate heartbreak as well.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that was off the back of a Player of the Season at Chelsea as well. I'm pretty sure he was, or maybe the season before that, but he was definitely the Player of the Season at Chelsea and before he left. And yeah, he's just, I mean, he was amazing, amazing footballer. I think the move to United actually probably stumped his progression a little bit.
Specialist as well.
Yeah, he was amazing. He was amazing to watch, and you almost, when we talk about Jose Mourinho, who's arguably been one of the most successful Chelsea managers of all time, you just wish there was ways that he in that period of his managerial career was able to understand that you could actually still use a Juan Mata in that team, even though you've got Oscar, you've got Hazard, you've got other players in there. The same for Mo Salah and Kevin De Bruyne. Obviously, hindsight's a brilliant thing, but you just wish he would have kept someone like Juan Mata, because he was absolutely immense. He was an amazing player. And like I said, I think when he went to United, not that he didn't do well there, I just think, like you said, it was a slow start. He was in and out of the team. I think his time didn't end well with United as well. And he's still playing football now. So it proves, he was someone who kept himself in good shape, good condition to continue to play in Australia for the time that he is now.
Yeah, top professional on and off the pitch as well, an absolute gentleman. That's why it even hurt even more, given how much respect and how much love I had for Juan Mata. I think one of the very few Chelsea players, he didn't stay only 2 years and a half. I think he stayed at Chelsea, but had such an impact in those 2 years and a half. The assist in the Champions League final, 2 assists in the Europa League final. Ultimate heartbreak when he scored that goal for Man United against Chelsea.
I can't remember if he celebrated. I don't think he did. I don't think he would.
I would have hoped he didn't. Yeah, I feel like it was very muted celebration if he did at least.
Yeah. We have to check that afterwards after we finish recording. But Carlton Cole looks like he's up next. West Ham.
Yeah, so this came on the 1st of December 2012. West Ham beat us 3-1. I feel like it was one of Rafa Benitez's first games as well. I think Mata got the opening goal that day, actually, and then I think West Ham just scored 3 soon after. And Carlton Cole was one of the goal scorers for them at Upton Park that day. I think annoying, but fair enough. I think we talked about a lot of great players that played for Chelsea. I think Carlton Cole was amongst those great Chelsea teams, but never really had a lasting impact, I feel. And maybe more of the success came post-Chelsea. But just, again, it's kind of that one stung, given it was quite an embarrassing defeat for us against West Ham, London rivals. So I'm almost tempted to bump it up to that one stung more than annoying, but fair enough.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think as well, it's unfortunate for Carlton Cole because he was coming through a period where there were just amazing strikers ahead of him at Chelsea. So I think he was always, again, a player that I don't think ever really hit his full potential wherever he went. I don't think he done amazing stuff at West Ham or Chelsea. But again, like you said, when you score a goal and you're playing for a London rival, not just a rival, that one stung is probably the right category for him. The next one is, he loves to score against us. I'm pretty sure he's done it a few times. Willian.
Yeah, so actually he scored a few times against us, but the first 2 goals were for Shakhtar against Chelsea before joining Chelsea. So the one that I think we should really review is his Fulham goal at Craven Cottage. Yeah. This was against, I think, Graham Potter's Chelsea.
Outside of the box, I think.
It might have been. I think it might have gone through Azpilicueta's legs or deflected off him. The celebration was very respectful. Refused to celebrate. He'd still visit Stamford Bridge often with his family. He still claims his daughter to support Chelsea, and he's still Chelsea.
Watches our games.
Watches all the Chelsea games, and I think would have loved to have stayed longer, and was probably just. The moves to Fulham and Arsenal are more for his family wanting to stay in London. But this one is the heartbreak for me because I feel a player I love Chelsea so much was just kind of almost playing his football against us, scored against us. And I might be wrong, but I think this was one of Fulham's first wins against Chelsea in God knows how long.
Oh, it was. I remember we covered it. We covered it on an episode on it, and I'm going to say it's over. I'm going to say like 30 years or something. It might even be more. It might be more. They've done the double against us. I'm pretty sure.
And that was the same game where Joao Felix got sent off in his debut.
Yeah,
as well.
It was.
Yeah, for me, this was the ultimate heartbreak, and I still have so much kind of respect and admiration for Willian. So, but just kind of the fact it was against Fulham, the fact we lost, and the fact that kind of legacy or that record was tarnished, being unbeaten against Fulham stung even more. So yeah, ultimate heartbreak for me.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree. I'd have to agree with that one. Sean Wright Phillips is up next. QPR.
Yeah, so he scored the winner that day. January 2013, it was a 1-0 win for QPR at Stamford Bridge. So I can't have it this one anywhere near didn't even sting. So when you're losing to QPR, who got relegated that year at Stamford Bridge, this one stung for me. I wouldn't say it was a knife in the back or a heartbreak, but this one stung. And I think Benitez overthought things that day. He put Marco Marin and Ross Turnbull in goal. So yeah, this one stung. Definitely. I think I was sat quite close to the QPR fans and I was seeing them all celebrate. Yeah.
I think it was a lack of respect, do you reckon, from Benitez in terms of the opposition?
It might have been. I think it was quite soon after New Year's Eve as well. So maybe he's thinking like something did a bit of a rest. He was rotating the squad. I think QPR probably sitting rock bottom of the league in 20th, and lack of respect definitely. And Wright Phillips, I think a player. I think we've had more of his success maybe at City than Chelsea. But yeah, I think this one stung definitely. The fact it was against QPR in the defeat as well.
His career never really hit the levels we wanted it to. He was a good player for us. I think he was, times he was an important player, but I just don't think, again, you said it best, his better times were at Manchester City. So I don't think, very sort of reminiscent to Raheem Sterling's time at Chelsea. He didn't really, find an extra gear, find an extra level in his personal career to sort of impact us in games more than he probably needed to. So, I think this one stung more so, again, losing to a team that's theoretically been relegated, and it's QPR. I mean, it's down the road. So, to be fair, shouldn't be losing to them.
That is Bolo Zenden.
Oh my, wow.
So Bolo Zenden scored for Sunderland. We did end up thumping Sunderland 7-2.
We did, I remember.
2010 is when Ancelotti's Chelsea was scoring for fun. And I think any team that played in red and white, we would score 7 past them, whether it was Sunderland, City.
Probably a Southampton in there somewhere.
Yes, we beat Sunderland 7-2. And Zenden scored one of the 2 Sunderland goals. And in fact, I think it was probably just a consolation at the time, so I'm always tempted to put it in. Didn't even think, just because of the scoreline and the fact we went on to win the league that season.
Yeah, it didn't impact us in any real way. Of course, it was a goal that he scored, ex-Chelsea player, but I think you're right. It didn't really impact our season, and as you said, went on to win the league anyway. I am struggling. I can see who's after this player who I really think we need to throw him straight in the top tiers somewhere. But the one before that,
if we were looking, is that Mohamed Salah?
Mohamed Salah, yeah.
Before he had short hair with the afro.
Okay.
So yeah, he scored a few against Chelsea.
He scored a brilliant goal against the Stamford.
But this was, I think, he also scored in his debut season for Liverpool against Chelsea. So there's a few we could kind of rank here, but I think any goal that Salah scores against Chelsea always stings. The fact it's Liverpool, the fact he was never really given a chance at Chelsea as well, similarly to De Bruyne. And also I just feel like, you look at those players that, what was the other one we had? We had De Bruyne, we had Salah, we had Mata, Lukaku as well. Players that never really got a chance at Chelsea and found their success afterwards, and almost proved a lot of, I wouldn't say Chelsea fans, but proved maybe like whoever decided to let them leave that they were wrong. But yeah, I think when a Liverpool player scores against you, it always stings. I wouldn't say it's knife in the back, because I wouldn't really feel like it was betrayal. I think he was quite respectful in his early celebrations against us. But yeah, I think maybe you're probably better placed to kind of categorize this one, being living up north.
The adopted Liverpudlian. I'll be honest, I'm thinking ultimate heartbreak. And the reason I say that is because of what he's gone on to achieve and the quality of player that we had in our reach, and we just didn't allow him to just give him. I mean, look what he's gone on. I'm not saying if he stayed at Chelsea, he'd be the player that he is today at all, because we just don't know that. But to see where he is now, the levels that he's still at now, in terms of, yes, he's slowing down a little bit, but in terms of his football and what he's achieved, can you imagine having, even to this day, having Mo Salah in your team? It'd just be amazing.
Does that mean we have to also place De Bruyne in Ultimate Heartbreak as well?
Possibly. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, those two, Kevin De Bruyne and Mo Salah, I think if you had those two players in your prime, I think we would have went on. We could have easily gone on to win 2 or 3 more Premier Leagues easily. I think those are the sort of players that, I suppose it proves the point now. They're both still playing. Yes, one's at Napoli and one's still at Liverpool, looking like he's almost hitting a declining moment. But they're still players that, if you've got Mo Salah in your team, you give him 2 or 3 chances, he's probably going to score 1 or 2 goals out of them. And Kevin De Bruyne's going to get you an assist or maybe a goal. And I just think those sort of players are just world-class players. To have them in your team, and like I said, hindsight's brilliant, but to have those 2 players in your team, it's a spine that you don't want to break.
You know what? It is the ultimate heartbreak because it was just like what could have been in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what breaks your heart in a way. And the fact you could have maybe had a De Bruyne in a 10 with Hazard and Salah either side of it's like that'd always be illegal in a way.
Exactly.
But yeah, let's put him in ultimate heartbreak.
They've both been. I've upgraded De Bruyne as well. I've upgraded De Bruyne to ultimate heartbreak. I think they both need to be in there for me in that category. Kai Havertz is next.
Yeah, I'm going to throw this one straight into knife in the back. It's celebrated. I feel like the way he left Chelsea was a bit snaky.
His social media posts as well. He's had a couple of jabs at us.
I think the fact he was kind of like wanting to join Arsenal probably like towards the end of the Chelsea season when he was still a Chelsea player. I had such high hopes for him when he scored in the Champions League final, despite his slow start that season. But yeah, for me, the celebrations, no matter if you're playing for Arsenal, you just don't celebrate like that. And we got thumped, I think, 5-0 that day. And just seeing him score 2 was just a proper knife in the back moment.
It's interesting. He said he's gone to Arsenal to win trophies. I think he's only won 1.
Yeah, there you go. I don't even think if he's even won a single trophy at Arsenal, has he?
No, if you want to include didn't they win the Community Shield? Wasn't he there for that?
the Audi Cup or the
Audi Cup. Yeah, he's won nothing significant since he's been there, but I'm sure that's one of the reasons he said he went there to win some trophies and win a Premier League, which he's still waiting to this day. That looks a bit like...
Yeah, this is Loic Remy, I think. Loic Remy. Loic Remy scored for Lille against Chelsea in the Champions League. We were 2-0 up. I remember this game because it was pissing down with rain. We had Aspi and Tammy Abraham score, and then Loic Remy scored a really good goal for Lille against us. We had a nervy finish. But yeah, the fact we won 2-1, we qualified from that group that day with, I think, Valencia and Ajax were the other team in that group. I want to put this one in, didn't even sting. I think it was brought in as a bit of being able to rotate with Diego Costa that season. But then I think left to go to Turkey, then eventually joined Lille maybe. But yeah, this one didn't sting for me.
Yeah, I think his Chelsea career was never something to sort of hold in high esteem. It wasn't something that I remember vividly either. I think even the transfer, I remember he nearly signed for, I'm going to say Liverpool. When the transfer broke down, there's a lot of stories around why the medical didn't go through, and the same nearly happened at Chelsea as well. So I think, he's got to be in a didn't even sting category. I think he's he's just the fact that he scored a goal, and I don't really, the goal doesn't stand out in my mind, kind of says it all. So I think it's a good choice there. Now this last player, so I don't know if you did this on purpose, but I think you subconsciously probably left this player till the very, very last.
I didn't even add him in at last, and then it just crossed my mind that he did score against us. So I have to include him. But this is Mr. Romelu Lukaku, whose name we don't like to mention too often on this podcast.
At all.
But he scored once for Everton against us in the FA Cup, and then once for United. But yeah, I think when Lukaku scores against you, knife in the back, and obviously recording this in 2025, we still know about all the interview thing, but he was still very much in love with Inter Milan when he was still a Chelsea player, which kind of makes you question his loyalty to any team he plays for. yeah, knife in the back moment for me. And the fact it happened for United as well, not just Everton, but also United, who are one of the rivals.
Yeah.
Like Mourinho is that season. Yeah, knife in the back moment for me.
And I don't think it's even an ultimate heartbreak, because I don't think we should give him that sort of title, if that makes sense. I don't think, he left and we all wanted him to go. So it's not like we wanted him to stay. We needed him in the team, or we really wanted to keep hold of him. We were all ready to pack his bags and drive him to the nearest football club. So I agree. I think it's more of a knife in the back, the sabotage, behind the scenes stuff that we know that he's been part of, at Chelsea, the disruption of Thomas Tuchel with the owners when the new owners came in as well. There's so many things, the interview, as you said. So, yeah, I think we should have his own category. It should just be called Judas or Snake, and he should have his own separate category, because I think he's got to go into that sort of level. But knife in the back is probably nice way to describe him, to be honest, or that moment in his career. But yeah, the less said about him, the better. I could go on for another half an hour about him.
I think we've got them all there. I might have forgotten one or two names. I know there's Bertrand Traore as well, who scored for Aston Villa against Chelsea, who I forgot to include. I think he would probably just be an annoying, but fair enough. But any other player that you think I've forgotten about to include, do let us know in the comments, because I feel like I've definitely forgotten a few names, because I know there's a long list of Chelsea players that have menaced us after leaving and haunted us as well.
Yeah.
But I think we've included the main ones that are very, very memorable, at least. So yeah, just the ultimate heartbreak ones. The list is out: Frank Lampard, Mohamed Salah, Kevin De Bruyne, Juan Mata, and Willian, which I think is a very fair kind of 5 to have in that top category.
I agree. And I think even going back to the didn't even sting, Graham Lasseau, Ross Barkley, Mikel Forsell, Andy Townsend. Forgot who that is down there at the very bottom. After that, Samuel Eto'o and Loic Remy and Neil Shipley as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's a fair assessment. I think if I'll ask you this question actually before we wrap up: is there any in the other category? So knife in the back, that one that stung, annoying but fair enough. Is there any that you'd probably have a D tier, if that's the right word, or escalate to another tier?
I think I'd keep it as it is. I still feel like that Fabio Borini moment still haunts me, because it really spelled the end of our title hopes. But I wouldn't really put knife in the back, given he wasn't really like a Chelsea legend, or didn't really have much. He didn't owe much to Chelsea fans, I suppose.
Yeah.
But another one actually just crossed my mind, who scored against us, Nathan Ake, scored for Bournemouth against Chelsea, which probably would be a bit of a.
How would it be a bit of a?
I think that goal stung, because I think he scored it in a 3-0 win.
Yeah, we might have to do a part 2. There could be others that we just haven't thought of.
Yeah, I really think it's a long list. The list keeps going. So if I think of more, maybe on the next episode, I'll bring them up, or we can add them to the category.
Brilliant. It will be brilliant. But that was good. It was good to do the top tier list of ex-Chelsea players who have scored. Obviously, we could include Estevao in there and all the others who have scored, but obviously weren't ex-Chelsea players at the time. So maybe we can incorporate them into another segment of these episodes. But as I said, make sure you subscribe. I always say this on every episode. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the Linktree link in the description as well. Theo, as always, thank you very much. Good list put together. Some memorable moments there. I'm going to have to go back and look at Neil Shipley, Andy Townsend's goals more so than anything. Mikel Forsell as well, because I can't remember those 3. But let us know what you think in the comments. Would you move any of the players into different categories in the tier system? Give us your thoughts in the comment section below. We'll be back soon, Theo. Of course, you're going to be away for some time. So I'm sure when you're back, you can tell us all about your travels. Will it be as adventurous as Brazil? You never know. We even find a new club to support over there as well. We never know. We'll find out in a couple of weeks. But enjoy your time away, of course. And we'll be back soon with another episode of the podcast. Until then, enjoy the rest of the week as it stands at the moment. Thank you very much for listening.